Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today. It's been about 2 weeks since I've shared a video here on YouTube. My family and I went on a road trip across the United States visiting family and friends, and it was so much fun. We live in Chicagoland, and so we drove west and stopped different places along the way and really had a fabulous time. So I'm rested and very excited to be back at my craft table. I have a mini series that I'm going to be sharing over the next 5 days, and I'm starting my Christmas in July cards. I always like to start in July to give myself plenty of time to create handmade cards for all of my family and friends. So this is day 1, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of stitching on this card, or actually I should say a lot of stitching. I have a beautiful background die from Spellbinders. It's called Stitched Petal Diamond. I'll also pull out my Glimmer hot foil machine for the sentiments. This set is called Glitter Wishes from the Celebrate the Season collection. It includes a ton of sentiments, as you can see, as well as a die to cut them out. I love it when they include dies. So these are holiday themed as well as glitter themed, which is fabulous. One of my favorites from this set says it's snowing glitter, and then there's one that says Glitter Wishes. They're all really cute sentiments. Then I have some new cardstock to show you. I love it when Spellbinders adds new colors to their cardstock essentials collection. This one is called Mahogany, and I have all of the others on order, so I'll be showing you those really soon. But oh, they're stunning, deep, rich colors, perfect for your winter and holiday card crafting. I'm going to use the outline die to cut out a piece of this mahogany cardstock. I'll have all of the new cardstock colors listed below in case you cannot wait, because they are really stunning. The other colors are Dune, which is a beautiful craft colored cardstock. Then there's a plum, indigo, forest, and a crimson. So these new colors just fit in beautifully with their other cardstocks. Let's tape this outline die in place. And then I'm going to take it off camera and run it through my die cutting machine. You can, of course, just cut this out with your paper trimmer. I like to die cut the outline first and also separate from the main piece. And then I'll tape the background die in place. I'll just use the same pieces of tape that I had. And just kind of center it on this piece of mahogany cardstock and run it through my die cut machine. Make sure that you run it through at least 3 or 4 times. I think I did this twice, and still some of the holes did not come out completely. I probably just need new cutting plates for my machine, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So go ahead and cut it out a few times, run it through. And unfortunately, I didn't notice that some of the dots weren't popping out until I had gotten well into my stitching. But I just kept going with it. It looked fine in the end. So let's start in on the stitching. I'm just going to show you a little bit of this. There have been so many stitching videos that I've created and a lot of other crafters have created on YouTube. And you probably already know how to do this. It's pretty simple and straightforward. The die even embosses lines into the paper so you know exactly where to put your string. This time I did not separate the string at all. I'm using all 6 strands here, and it looks so full and pretty. I started at the tips of the petal, pulling the string up, and then I'll use the common hole in the center to pull the thread down. That way, if you happen to fray the thread or if there are any imperfections, you just pull it through to the back of the work. This would also look gorgeous with more traditional Christmas colors, using a bright red thread for this so that they really look like poinsettias. But I was determined to use this beautiful mahogany cardstock for this project. So there are 6 petals to each flower, and then you have some dots in the center. And for those dots, I'm going to be doing something that I've never tried on paper before, and that is the French knot. And it's been a long time since I've done French knots as well. I watched the new video from Yana Smakula, where she did some gorgeous stitching on her cards. I'll link to that in the description box below, but she really inspired me to try more things with my stitching. So I used a green embroidery floss for the centers, and you'll see that here in just a moment. And I'm going to show you how I did the French knots and the centers. I'm not going to lie, this card did take a lot of time to do, but it's something that I enjoy. So I loved it, but if you're not into stitching, this background just looks beautiful on its own. You don't have to do a thing to it, and it just looks really pretty for your Christmas cards or really any season. Okay, so here is the almost finished work. That's the back. It's kind of a mess right now. I'm going to clean it up. But let me show you how I do a French knot. So you have to pull the thread kind of taut. On the first knot, I twisted it around the needle twice. And then you just pull it through to the back and it creates a cute little knot. For the center knot, I'm going to wrap it around the thread 3 times, so it's a little bit of a bigger knot. So again, I'm holding it taut, wrapping it 3 times, and then bringing it over the thread and pushing it back into the same hole. And just pulling it through. So that's a little bit of a bigger knot. And then the third hole, I'm going to wrap it twice again. So I'll have smaller knots at the side and a bigger one in the center. And there are a lot of YouTube videos where they will show you in better detail how to do this. But I wanted to quickly show you how I did this. And here it is all done. I'm going to adhere it to a piece of pink cardstock. This was from Fun Stamper's Journey. I don't believe they carry this in the shop anymore, but it's like dusty rose. I added glue around the perimeter of the panel. I'm putting little dabs and dots over the embroidery thread as well as the cardstock, trying to make sure that it will be securely glued to this panel. And then I can just press that into place. I'm going to hold it down for just a few moments. And now for the sentiment. I'm going to use the sentiment that says, "Best wishes for the season." And I didn't want to have a big sentiment on this card because I don't want to cover up all of the hard work I did with the stitching. So this little sentiment is going to be perfect. I'm using some brass gold foil for this. I press the timer button, and once it turns solid green, I can pull it out of its docking station, run it through my Platinum 6, and then it is ready to unveil. So I did get a little bit of overfoiling, but that's all right. I'm going to use the coordinating die to cut this out before I deal with the overfoiling, just to see if that will cut some of it out. But it's a nice, bold gold foil. It's so pretty. I'll tape the strip die in place so it doesn't shift when I run it through my die cut machine. And here it is all ready to go. I am going to cut this down just a little bit. So I didn't mind the foil on this because it was mostly on the edges and it just looked like it was more intentional. Looked like it was edged with gold, so I just let it be. I'm putting a foam strip behind it to pop it up off the card, and I'm just going to press it there so it's not covering any of the flowers, and it's going to be kind of flat in that area. So I'll press this in place, and then I can just flip it over and cut off the excess. But I liked the green cardstock because it really matched my French knots really well. I'll glue this onto a top folding card base. And then I decided to bring out my gold baubles and put a few in the centers of the diamonds. I'm just going to put 4 around this panel. I didn't want to put these baubles too close to the edges, so that's why I just chose to do the 4. And here is a close-up look at the finished card. Isn't that pretty? So if you like stitching, I think you're going to love this background panel. And again, it's called Stitched Petal Diamond background. And usually when I'm stitching, I glue 2 panels together, but I did not this time because this mahogany cardstock is a very heavyweight, beautiful cardstock. So I just needed a single panel. And that completes my very first Christmas card for 2022. And watch for my next video, which will come out tomorrow, for day 2 of my Christmas in July card crafting mini-series. Happy crafting, my friends. Bye.